I've been watching quite a few videos lately, and I guess that really the ones that I've been watching the most are like, well, I watch a lot of videos actually, but the ones that have kind of stood out in the past few weeks are the regain videos from the Proof Weight Loss Surgery Works, I think, or Proof WLS Works or something like that. And people have been addressing the topic of regain. Now, I'm at a point where I'm, brand new. I've lost like 15 pounds. My surgery is next week, so I'm still, significantly obese. So at this point, like, I can't really look into the future and imagine a day where I wouldn't be, obese. I mean, I can definitely look into the future and see where I probably could lose, maybe 30 pounds, but like any more than that, it just kind of would blow my mind. But if there does come a day where I lose, 100 pounds or something like that, I would like to not regain it back. Duh, who wants to regain it, any weight that they lose. So I thought that something that would be beneficial is to put up a video to help to remind myself, the me, if I ever get to that point, to remind the me then what it was like now, some of the challenges that I come up against and things that I want to remember and not forget how I'm feeling in this moment, and maybe that is something that I could find value in down the road. So I've got a list here of things that I want to remember when I get to my desired weight. One would be last week whenever I was on vacation at the river, at the Frio River in Garner State Park. I asked my husband, I'm like, I want to find floats that I don't have to crawl up in, because anyone that's overweight knows that it's not easy to crawl anywhere, but especially not to try to crawl up into a float that's, this thick with your ass in the air and everything. It's a humiliating experience. All your big butt and your cellulite and everything is shown to everyone who's around you, and it's uncomfortable, and it's just embarrassing, really, So we saw these floats last year on the river when we went, and you could literally just kind of push yourself up into them. And I thought, well, heck, that's the kind of float I need, And at that point, I didn't think, hey, maybe I should lose 60 pounds. Instead, I thought, yeah, I'll get this other float, because that's the thing to do. So that's what we did. We found my husband actually found two floats. He found a yellow one and a pink one, and I just thought, woo, I'm in it, let's do it. So we got there. The first day we had them, it was amazing. I didn't have to, crawl up into anything. I just had to, barely push myself up a bit. So the following day, my husband went to the river and I stayed home. Or stayed at the cabin, and he came back and he was like, oh, hey, by the way, I ripped one of those floats. And I was like, what are you talking about, ripped it? How'd you do that? And he's like, well, I was pushing up into it and the side of it split. And I thought, oh, crap, well, we've only got one of them left then. And I just looked at him and I said, look what our big asses break. They break everything. Everything we try to get into, we break something. So anyway, the next day came and I went and I got in my float. I think maybe it was the pink one at that point that was left. And so I was sitting in that float and I was just enjoying myself, and all of a sudden I felt, and I was ready to go this way, because my float was then ripping. Like, you gotta be shitting me. My float's ripping too. And so in that moment I just thought, this is something that I have to remember for the future me, if I get to my desired weight. One of the reasons I don't want to get back to her is because I'm done breaking stuff. So in addition to the two floats, my husband and I have broken his futon that he used to have like a decade ago. And I wasn't even that big then, like, maybe like 200 pounds or something. But anyway, futon. And we have broken 4 bed frames in our time together. And not because we're getting like crazy in bed, because we're fat. That's why we're breaking bed frames. It's ridiculous. It's completely ridiculous, the things that fat people break, and it's humiliating. It really is. Right now we've got something stuck under our bed frame because we need to get a new one. My sister made fun of it. Actually, it was last year. We haven't even replaced it since last year, because I guess what's the point? We're only going to break another one. But maybe when we lose weight, maybe then anyway, we've got something that's holding it up under there now because it's broken, So anyway, the breaking stuff too. I cannot ride most roller coasters. There are some roller coasters I can ride, but a lot of them I can't. And most of them I just wouldn't even try and walk up and do it, because, I don't think that I'm concerned with what the other people are thinking. I don't know, maybe I am. I don't feel like I'm concerned with with what other people are thinking, but I am concerned with what I myself am thinking. And I'm thinking, like, seriously, you can't fit into a roller. Like, why would I put myself through that, going and feeling uncomfortable, you know, being excited to ride the roller coaster and then not being able to fit into the seat. So it seems, so I just avoid them altogether. But I, you know, if me down the road can fit into a roller coaster, that'd be pretty cool, and I probably wouldn't want to lose that. And I don't want to lose this feeling now either of not being able to ride it when it being summertime and my youngest son wants to go, and it, you know, what's the fun if you go to a theme park and you can't ride a roller coaster? Have to stand a certain way. You know, I'm very aware. I've seen plenty of big people in my lifetime, and the way that they stand. If they stand a certain way, it's like where your legs are together, and then your thighs are together, and then your legs kind of branch out, but they branch out in almost like a triangle way rather than just like straight down. I think it's very unattractive. So I myself try and avoid standing that way. Of course, I don't succeed always, but you know, just trying to avoid standing in a certain way, and that seems crazy, but I do. Airplane seats. Anybody that's overweight or obese knows that it is tough to sit in those airplane seats. I have had to get into a middle seat, I've had to get into a side seat with people sitting, you know, around me, and I'm doing this. And do you know how comfortable it is, uncomfortable it is to ride for like 3 hours like this? My back hurts, my butt hurts, everything hurts. It's so uncomfortable. I'm sweating because of how uncomfortable I am and how much pain my shoulder is in. In addition, can't always get that seatbelt done. You know, most of the time I can. Most of the seats I can fit into, and I can do it, but it's not without, like, you know, sucking in and like stretching as far up in the seat as I can to try and get it across my waist, or not my waist, but my legs. So that's something that is humiliating, because I'm not going to ask for an extender. So I'll just sit there without a seatbelt on and just try to cover it up with my shirt and make it look like I am. But come on, like, that's stupid. Why haven't I lost weight yet? Like, it's such an uncomfortable situation, but I guess I just forget about it until I'm on the plane, and then I'm like, crap. Like, now let's wrestle with the seatbelt a bit. Anyway, Lane Bryant. Lane Bryant's clothes are expensive. They're expensive, and really they've kind of, I think, garnered the market when it comes to plus sizes for like business casual and stuff like that. You know, you can't, I really don't enjoy purchasing clothes from other places. For a lot of them look like old women clothes, like super old woman clothes. The patterns are not attractive. Torrid is not necessarily attractive for work. It's not, you know, the best choice of clothing for work. And sometimes their clothes, like, they're kind of short as well, and I've got big legs. That's not even appropriate, in my opinion. And my arms are big too. I'm not looking for sleeveless anything either, and Torrid has a lot of that. They've got, you know, they do have some cute stuff. I've purchased some stuff there, but for the most part, it's Lane Bryant, and it's expensive, and the choices are limited, you know. So you know, I'd like to have a lot more options to choose from when it comes to clothing. Getting into the water and wearing my bathing suit cover until I get into the water, where I then take the cover off and put it on the side of the pool, or I will just put it into one of our floats that we do have, you know, like at the Frio River or at Garner State Park. My husband wants to go on, you know, beach trips and stuff like that, but where am I going to put my bathing suit cover when I'm at the beach? I can't. I would have to walk in without it, and I'm just not going to do that. I'm just not at a place where I'm comfortable enough with myself to walk out like that. I don't feel like I'm attractive at all from the back and with my big legs and stuff. So I'm not going to put myself into a position where I feel unattractive. That seems silly. So, you know, I'd like to be able to get to a point where I can, you know, feel comfortable not wearing a bathing suit cover into the pool and taking it off once I get into the pool.